Welcome everybody to today's press conference of the International Federation of Robotics. We are presenting today the results of World Robotics 2025, the global statistics on the robotics market.
When we are looking now outside production, mainly on the service robotics field, we see a continuous growth. So almost 200,000 robots have been deployed last year in the area of professional service robots, including autonomous mobile robots, which is plus 9%. In the field of medical robots, 16,700 units were sold, which almost doubled. So it's also a big field of growth there. And looking into the consumer service robots, more than 20 million robots were sold, which is plus 11%. So we see that the service robotic market is growing fast. This market is played by 950 manufacturers worldwide, where 80% of them are small, medium-sized enterprises, 20% are large enterprises producing these robots, 7% are startups. When you are going to the next slide, we will have a look into the top 5 applications of the professional service robots. And we see that more than half of the professional service robots are actually deployed in the area of transportation and logistics, which is also a focus topic this year. And so 1/3 of all service robot suppliers are working in this field. Next biggest market is hospitality, with almost a share of more than 20%. Then comes professional cleaning, 13%, agriculture, which is mostly milking robots, 10%. And then we have security with 1%, but then also a big amount of other applications, niche applications, which amount to almost 6,000 robots. When we are looking into the growth rates, there's a big also dynamic developments in this area. So professional cleaning robots, they've risen by 34%. So the technology becomes major. And there's still a big market growth when you consider how much cleaning tasks are done, for example, in airports, in supermarkets, or in train stations. Search and rescue is rising with 19%. This is also a market where we see lots of robot as a service, especially in the US. So where people do not buy the robot, but they are leasing it as a subscription model. Transportation and logistics have risen by 14%. This is generally the logistics sector, which also a focus topic this year in the report. And we have a bit of a saturation, let's say, is an agriculture factor, and hospitality has risen a lot last year, and therefore we have this year a bit lower figures in this area. Looking into the medical robot field, we see this big growth by 91%, which is really big. And we mostly see it in investments in the area of diagnostic medical lab robots. So robots which are automating labs, for example, in pharma production or in pharma experimentation areas where you have to be in a sterile way. There are lots of tasks which are still done manually and now become automated more and more. This is also a focus topic in this year's service robot report. Looking into the rehabilitation, there we have this market has doubled. This is on the one hand side stationary robots, but also exoskeletons which are used for rehabilitation purposes. Surgery are always quite expensive robots because they are expert tools. They have lots of degrees of freedom, and also in this area we have a growth by 41%. Now, coming already to the summary and outlook. So we really see that the service robotic market becomes major. We have a good growth with excellent long-term prospects. So demographic change, lack of skilled workers is driving this market. The technology becomes major. In the area of professional service robots, still investments are a bit postponed because there's the uncertainty in the economic conditions. We see, especially in the US, that the robot as a service, the RaaS models, become really important. So partly 10% of the robot sales is the number of robot fleets, for example, in the area of transportation and logistics. And we see that the service robots become also more and more powerful. This means they are not anymore specialists for only one task. For example, that they are not only doing inspection tasks, but they are also doing security tasks if someone, a foreigner, is, for example, in a factory. The same applies also cleaning and security in domestic tasks. Looking into the trend topic of humanoid robots. You go to one more. Thank you. Yeah. I guess that's probably also a question which is burning under your nails. I have also been in China end of June on a trip, visiting several companies active in humanoid robotics. We see a lot of visionary videos, everyday announcement, what's going on. When we are looking here from the figures, from the market figures, we do not really see massive use today. So there are not massive robot sales in humanoids which are reported to IFR, but we see that the serial production is in preparation. The most built humanoid robots today are mostly for research development purposes, which is already ongoing for several years, which are partly also produced on demand. But of course, we see massive investments into the field of humanoids. New companies in the market build humanoids. They have demonstrators, prototype stadium for first trial applications at pilot customers. We also see the humanoid half marathon in China. And we know that around more than 100 companies alone in China are developing these humanoid robots. But still, it's a question, what is the killer application, or what's really the application field of humanoids, which is the one where we really need humanoid robots in practice. So will it replace industrial robot? Will it go into the service robotic market? Is still a question which is discussed and investigated in practice. And with this, we are at the end of the service robot report.